Tyra Banks was right. We all watched it. We all loved it. Actually, we loved the show so much to where we made it #1 season after season. And if we didn't like it so much, and if we didn't approve of body shaming, and if we didn't approve of the bullying, there would never be a show to begin with, or the show would have been canceled after the first season.
I just feel like America.
So I started watching America's Next Top Model from the beginning, like a month ago. I'm on season 13. And I should really be in bed right now, but there's this girl, I really want her to get kicked off. And I just have to, like, I stayed up last night, I watched 2 episodes, and she's made it. She was in the bottom 2, but she made it through, squeaked by. And she has a little bit of an attitude problem. And Tyra said the last time she's like, I will not say this again about your attitude. Like, if you're in the bottom for your attitude again, then you're out of here. Which she'll probably, like, turn it around. One of the girls read her diary when she was in the confession room the last episode. And she was like, oh, I thought she was going to have a bunch of bad things to say about us, but really she's just lonely. So now they're all going to, like, kumbaya or whatever, which will be really annoying. A side note, saw that Tyra Banks is coming out with a documentary on Netflix. I don't even have Netflix, but I will have to get it. Because she, like, sits down in a chair and is like, I haven't spoken up before, but and tell all now. I'm very excited.
Now we are entering into the real reactions here. We are going to begin with people who are not happy. There are people who looked up to Tyra. I told you already that results, you're not going to fool us the second time. So these people are not willing. This lady in particular is not willing to support Tyra Banks' documentary.
And Tyra, in America's defense, we were all roughly 14 years old. That was y'all asking for more. Now, if you guys didn't know, America's Next Top Model is getting a documentary on Netflix.
Success of her show. I knew I went too far.
You did. Tyra, please. Okay. Now, don't try to blame us, the viewers. Mind you, being very impressionable children, okay? I'm speaking for all of America. Not you trying to blame this on us, okay? We did not ask for more. That was you trying to maintain the hottest show that came on. I think it came on Tuesdays on UPN. That was you and your little cronies, okay? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I very much enjoy the show. I even tried out for America's Next Top Model, but that was y'all. That was all, and it was great. It was wonderful. A lot of those girls got hurt. A lot of those girls got disfigured. A lot of those girls were traumatically scarred. And we tuned in and we watched. But on February 16th, when this docuseries premieres on Netflix, we're going to be able to get the full scope about what was going on America's Next Top Model.
Tyra Banks was still right. I hear everyone saying, well, when America's Next Top Model first aired, I was 8, I was 13, I didn't know any better, so on and so forth, right? And valid. But you guys, the show ran for 24 seasons, okay? It started in 2003 and it ended in 2018 with over 100 million viewers season after season. Fake outrage, guys. We're blaming Tyra for something that was put in place before she was here, and she's exposing the industry, or she was exposing the industry to viewers, American people, the world, on what models go through, what the beauty standards are in the industry. And till this day, we still have supermodels who are terribly thin, not naturally thin, intentionally extremely thin. We still watch Fashion Week in New York and Paris. All these things are still happening behind the scenes because this is the culture of this industry. And yet we are not protesting. We're still tuning in. We're still purchasing shows, tickets to shows, to sit front row. We have fake outrage.
In the documentary, Tyra Banks says that the pressure kept growing on them because the people kept wanting more and more and more. And this lady says in this video that if you can extend grace to yourself for wanting more and more and more and impacting harm on girls like that, girls in the modeling industry, the things that happen to them that we don't see. If you can help yourself and extend such grace to yourself, why can't you extend the same grace to someone like Tyra Banks? However, that is not going to stop others from supporting the documentary, like this particular lady who even featured in America's Next Top Model and is very excited to see the documentary part of it.
So I heard we are finally getting an America's Next Top Model documentary, like a Netflix style real documentary giving away all the tea, and I am so excited. What you may not know about me is that before I was on America's Next Top Model myself and won Cycle 23, I was a die-hard America's Next Top Model fan. I actually would skip school to watch the marathons of America's Next Top Model on the CW. That's how big of a fan I was. And so this documentary is just going to be so amazing for America's Next Top Model super fans. I feel like it's going to give us the closure we need, and I'm especially curious about all the like Jay Manuel and Tyra Banks drama and like what happened with the judges. I mean, as many of you know, my season was hosted by Rita Ora. I met Tyra a few times, but she wasn't the host of my season, and we had all new judges. The whole show got a total facelift. It was on a different network. Like, I am just so curious to hear everything that happened and also hear from contestants. It's going to be so good, and I can't wait.
I just watched the trailer for the Tyra Banks America's Next Top Model documentary, and I'm glad to see that it's being done, because there's lots of things that were not okay on that show. And I think recently on Twitter and social media, people have been resurfacing clips and saying, look at this, what happened, and how did they say this, and how did they tell this person to do that, and whatever. And I think there's been a lot of discourse around how it was very toxic and detrimental to health and beauty standards in the industry and in the world, and on people that went on the show, and like long-term effects it could have had on them. But more so about how Tyra was such a strong proponent of that. So I'm shocked to see that Tyra is in the documentary. And I wonder if it's that they reached out to her, and having her would be a big pull because people would watch it to see what she has to say, or her team heard about it and asked to be involved and said she'd be honest and take accountability. Either way, it feels to me like a good PR spin where Tyra can be involved, say she's sorry, take accountability and control the narrative. It's very good PR movements and quite sensible thing to do. But I think in terms of having the true core of a documentary that was honest, not having her on the show would allow them to be more direct, more honest, and have people be more explicit about what they say.
So I will be watching the America's Next Top Model documentary, but it did send me when Tyra Banks was like, you guys kept wanting more, so we kept pushing it. Girl, I was 12. When I was watching that show, I was not sitting there with my sister after school in my uniform going, you know what would make this really good? A race change. Like, we didn't need that. I would watch the makeover episodes and be like, oh my God, they're changing her hair from brunette to blonde. That's a completely different person. I don't even recognize her. What a transformation. Like, we didn't need much. We were young. We were sitting in our school uniforms. We didn't need the race change or for them to be booted off the runway by a gigantic metal ball. I just wanted to watch them walk. And I'd be like, wow, what an outfit. Maybe one day I'll own that skirt. Like, I would watch the Go season and be like, the taxi's fucking late. The taxi's late. They're not going to get upstairs. She's not going to book it. She's a minute late. It's all gone to shit. That was the level of drama we needed.
So Netflix is going to release an America's Next Top Model documentary. I could not be more seated. I don't have Netflix, but I am still seated. I will find a way. But the trailer dropped, and some people were having some contention with something Tyra Banks said, which was that she was sort of seeming to blame the audience for the reason why there was increasingly more and more problematic things happening on the show, because the audience demanded it. So immediately people wanted to discuss this, saying things like, babe, wake up, Tyra Banks is trying to claim we, the audience, have culpability for the extremely weird stuff she did on America's Next Top Model. Like the show was a funny, games-esque indictment of the viewer and their voyeuristic desires. Sorry, that had nothing to do with us. We were 12. I think y'all are really struggling with a nuanced understanding of what she's saying, because she is right, but she's also allowed harmful things to occur despite knowing they were wrong. Two things can be true at the same time. I'm waiting to see if this was taken out of context, like maybe she's referring to the feedback she got from the network. So it's our fault she put those models in blackface? As soon as I saw the trailer, I knew her narcissistic ass would find a way to escape accountability. Yes, me at 12 was so evil and sinister. I mean, yeah, it got increasingly weird because the viewership responded to the increasing weirdness with more viewership. We are responsible for what we consume. And then, of course, my favorite take on this is, the damn documentary isn't even out yet. Can y'all get a grip? But like, I agree with everyone leading up to that last one. Obviously, this is something that's like really interesting to think about, but I think it's gonna come down to really understanding what, like, how Tyra meant for it to come across, because I do believe both things are true. I think that, yes, as things got crazier, viewership increased, but that doesn't mean the audience was writing in and like voting on like what crazy thing they wanted to see these girls do next, or what crazy abuse they wanted to see Tyra and the judges put them through in the next episode.
The thing is, being famous and being a star comes with a huge responsibility, which some people are not prepared to hear about. We have a lot of expectations as audience to these people, as fans to these people. Our expectations are usually too high and very different. People have varying expectations. Whereas you're saying this is causing harm, there's another person that is enjoying and finding it very entertaining. And because there are people that are money minded, we are going to forget that Tyra Banks might also be getting the same pressure as she said. As an audience, we are always presented with the finished product, but if we are lucky enough, then we are given a few clips of the behind the scenes. That is why we can only judge using the things that we have seen. But for someone like Tyra and the judges that are also going to feature in the documentary, they are on ground and they know what exactly happens, and they know that they are not in total control. Some of them are controlled by invisible voices that we don't even see. These are people that are money minded. These are people that are reading the minds of the audience. That if the audience wants Tyra crazy, let us give Tyra crazy in this season. So they give us the next season basing on the statistics of what happened in the season before that. Anyhow, in this particular video, this lady says that the entire show, America's Next Top Model, was nothing but a humiliation ritual.
As someone who grew up watching America's Next Top Model and has watched it back and re-seen everything as an adult, it seems like a lot of these girls were getting humiliated on purpose. I'm sure you guys remember Danny being one of those people where Tyra said, if you don't fix your gap and get it closed, you're not going to make it anywhere. And if you watch the show, you know that Danny did not want to get her gap all the way closed, but she would later agree to get it closed more, but not all of the way. And we are going to see her in this new documentary and talking about how horrific these experiences were of getting actual medical treatment done on the show. And Danny wasn't the only one that was pressured, feeling like they had to do medical procedures to actually stay on the show and make it somewhere. And the thing that drives me nuts about them wanting Danny to close her gap is on later seasons, they had a model named Chelsea and they actually had her go to the dentist to enhance her gap. You also have multiple girls that suffered real medical issues during the filming of America's Next Top Model, and it felt like their health was not a priority. I'm sure you guys all remember the girl that got hypothermia because she had to do a photo shoot in a freezing cold pool. And there were so many times where these models on America's Next Top Model would literally pass out, with quite a few of these models saying the reason why people were passing out is because they felt like they had to maintain this image, and a lot of them were not eating correctly because they were body shamed. And a lot of the models that we have heard from publicly after their time on America's Next Top Model have talked about the same experience of feeling like they were being humiliated on purpose. Like this scene right here when Tyra Banks lost her cool and literally went off on the contestant named Tiffany when she was already eliminated. Tyra was literally going off on her because she wasn't crying that she just got eliminated, and this girl right here is crying because she's up for elimination. This was such an unhinged scene that I think none of us will forget, and Tyra Banks has actually apologized for how she acted in this specific episode. Another one of the most controversial things of America's Next Top Model is when they changed the ethnicity of the models not once, but twice in 2 different seasons of America's Next Top Model. And this part caused so much backlash that Hulu actually removed these episodes from the total episodes that they have on every single season.
The good thing with this documentary that I'm seeing is that it's going to try and be objective, also impartial, because I am seeing almost everyone that was a key role player in America's Next Top Model featured in the documentary. We're going to be hearing from the judges, we're going to be hearing from the models, we're going to be hearing from Tyra Banks. All these are people that were a part of the show. So these are the people that are going to really open up and tell us what exactly happened. That is why I'm saying that there's a good side to it. And maybe, just maybe, the wounds that people had at that time is going to be opened up immediately the documentary is brought up, because this is something that people have tried to forget about, but now it's coming back in the open. There are people that were really affected by this,